Okay.
It is 6:01 p.m. on September 13th. This is the meeting of the Lunenburg Sewer Commission. My name is John Reynolds, and does someone have a flag? Dave, Barb, do you have a great day? Thanks.
Good job, Dave.
I'd like to ask everyone to join me in the pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag
of the United
of the United
States
States of America
and to the
and
republic
to the republic
for which it stands,
Stands
one nation,
one nation, under God,
indivisible,
visible
with
with
liberty
liberty
and justice
for all.
Okay, thank you. I just have a couple paragraphs I have to read. In accordance with the requirements of the open meeting laws, please be advised that this meeting of the Sewer Commission is being recorded and will be able to be found on the Lunenburg Access YouTube channel after the meeting. The following information is also provided for members of the public that would not, that would like to participate in the meeting remotely. To participate remotely from a computer, please use the link to join the public webinar found on the posted agenda, or from a telephone, dial the toll-free number 888-475-4499. That's 888-474489, and to enter the web ID number 792-737-0353. Again, that's 792-737-0353. If you have not registered with Zoom, you will be asked for your name and an email address. No participant ID is needed. Just press pound when asked. I'm going to do a roll call to confirm that all members are present. As I call your name, just answer in the affirmative. Let's see, Brett Ramsden, Dave McDonald, Mike Naltz,
Aye.
Mike DeVegas, no, and I for myself. Staff, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Bill Bernard.
Here.
Paula Bertram.
Here.
Barb LaFave.
Here.
Jane Rainley.
Here.
And looks like we have at least one guest, Lou Franco. Is that correct?
Yes, it is. Thank you.
Okay.
Yes, and I believe we have Carlene was here.
Okay. Carlene representing El Forno is here also.
Well, no, I admitted her and now she is not. So maybe she.
Okay, well, let's move on.
Okay.
Any public comment from the public? Okay, any public comment from the commission? No, okay. Seeing no comment, any announcements? Seeing none, I have an announcement to make. The ZBA public hearing on Pondview Commons 40B project is tomorrow, September 14th at 7 p.m. at the town hall. Okay, our first appointment is Lou Franco. Lou, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. I want to thank the commission for having me and accommodating my presence and allowing me to make my case here. So this relates, what I'm looking to do is get the sewer commission's blessing for another amendment to the sewer bylaw, which appeared at the May 7th, 2022 town meeting as Article 25, and with specific regard to the waivers, which are on page 3 of the waiver provision, which is on page 3 of the bulletin that I sent out tonight. So the bulletin represents all the amendments that actually were implemented at the town meeting. And at the town meeting, there was a little bit, I raised this issue, but we had gone, at that point, this article had been debated for maybe 45 minutes. Nobody was in the mood to hear another amendment at that point. So I withdrew the proposal for the amendment, but said I'd be back, and I'm back. So My concern relates to the third criterion for qualifying for a waiver. So the sewer commission can, of course, waive any of its provisions upon a showing, a satisfactory showing. And section 10 explains, emergency circumstances. 2 alternatives to the waiver present would be an undue hardship. And the way it read after the amendment that was voted on and approved. 3, the commission deems it to be in the best interest of the town of Lunenburg and not otherwise inconsistent with the purpose and objective hereof, meaning of the bylaw. At the time, my objection, which remains, or concern, was that requiring an applicant or petitioner for a waiver to demonstrate that that waiver would be in the best interest of the town is too high a bar. Under that, strictly speaking, under that wording, if a waiver would just simply be neutral and would have no positive or negative impact on the town, that applicant or petitioner would not meet the standard, strictly speaking, if somebody wanted to enforce it strictly. So my proposed change in wording is very simple, but it makes a world of difference. And that would be to have it read, the commission deems it to be not counter to the interests of the town. So get rid of in the best interest of the town and replace it with not counter to the interests of town. So that's a lower bar. It just means that granting the waiver would do no harm to the town. But it reduces the bar for the petitioner or the applicant. That's basically it.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I obviously haven't had it for a very long time, but I did read it just before the meeting. And I guess my first thought was, as it is, the sewer commission is really not in a position to determine what's in the best interest of the town, which is maybe part of what you're trying to say, Lou. I don't know. So I'm kind of interested in this. So any of the other commissioners, please offer your opinions.
Mr. Chair, if I could, Mr. Franco, I want to thank you for coming and helping us the way you did at town meeting as well. I'd like to get Paula's input on this if I could. Paula, what do you feel about that wordage?
I actually think it makes a lot of sense.
My concern is if we go to town meeting this early, are we going to have another marathon debate over it? Because I was totally shocked, I guess is the word I would use, on how it just kept on going for like an hour. And all we're trying to do is do something, try to make a wrong into a right. And we have a case right now. And Paula, do you feel that that's the situation we're in today?
Well, actually, I think the wording as it stands would actually be beneficial to the situation we're in today. I think it's definitely applicable to be in the best interest of the town to allow this waiver. As for the change in the wording, I don't think this situation actually fits the criteria of not in the best interest of the town. But if it were a single family home with a failing system, for example, and they were able to put in sewer, they weren't able to put in septic, and therefore that would create the hardship, but it's also not counter to the best interest of the town. So I think that's where that wording comes into play. I think the concern at town meeting was the potential for development via an easement. And I think there's a project before the commission that has come, or that at least has come into the office, that is exactly the example of why there was such concern about the bylaw as it was originally written. I think this wording would serve well for an individual that has a failing septic system that cannot replace it. Because they have to meet all of the criteria, all 3 criteria. I think that the wording that Mr. Franco is proposing would certainly fit that scenario where it does not right now.
I guess my concern would be because we have that project so close and that's going to be a huge topic, I think, at this town meeting. I would like to defer from doing that until the next meeting, next town meeting a year from now, or a year from May. But that's just my opinion. But I just hate to muddy up the waters, confusing one project to another. And I mean, we did a lot at the last meeting to get this going, this exempt that we're trying to do. So I mean, that's my opinion on it. Mr. Chair.
Okay, Mike Nault, thanks, Dave.
I'm kind of going to shadow with Dave on that just because that last meeting was just such a dilemma, I guess, with everything going on and with moving forward with what we're going to be talking about at this one. I think it's just going to add to the mayhem at this point. So I like the wording. I agree with it. I'm just kind of leaning towards Dave's side of it, saying maybe a year from now.
Brett, you have any thoughts?
I don't have a lot to add other than I don't see the hurry here either. With everything going on, processing this a bit further and, you know, fine tuning it further down the road when we're able to think a little bit more on it might be the way to go.
Okay. And I'm really on the same page there. I like the wording. I'm just concerned about bringing it to town meeting this soon, after it just got passed.
I mean, Mr. Chair, if I could, I think the accomplishment we did at the last meeting was a big step, and we've been trying to do it. I know since I've been on the commission, it
Right.
wasn't exactly what I wanted. I want to make sure that we're fair to all our customers and the residents of Lunenburg, which by approving at the town meeting the last time, I think we did a good step. But I want to applaud Mr. Franco for helping us, and it's almost like a life preserver there for us when we're discussing it at a town meeting. But I think we got the gist of it. And if I could just ask Barbara her opinion while we're here.
Yeah, when I read it, when Lou sent it over, I agree with it. I think it is more an easier fix for us to try to determine, or for the commission to try to determine the best interest of the town. This is just saying it's not counter to the interest of the town. It's a clarification. There was a lot going on in May, and this is just a clarification of what was passed. So I'd be for it.
Okay, well, is there anyone who, go ahead?
I just wanted to take the floor again and just say,
Oh, sure, I'm sorry, go ahead.
thank you. I don't have a particular issue with delaying it. I think it's important to eventually get in there. I don't have the context of the particular issue that you're talking about, that this might throw a, whose works this might throw a monkey wrench into. So I don't want to mess that up. But I also don't want it to go away. I do think it's pretty important. And, I could certainly live, and I realize this was a very short one, Wayne, you just had it before you today, and I appreciate everyone's receptivity and consideration of it. It seems like the inclination is to not favor it at this time, reading the room right and reading the Zoom right. And so I could live with this going on into next May. If it would have the full blessing for next May, that'd be good.
Mr. Franco, would you be there to help us with this on next May?
Sure, you can come to your meeting?
Yes.
Sure, yes, absolutely.
Then with that, Mr. Chair, I'd like to put a motion that we back burner this proposal until next May's meeting.
Do I have a second on that?
I'll second that.
Okay, any further discussion?
In all due respect, Mr. Chair, I value Barbara's opinion, but I also know that at this town meeting, this particular time, I think it's just going to be a heated discussion about the other projects in town, and I just don't want to be dragged. If it was me on the other side, I'd be saying no to everything, no to sewer, no to water, and I just don't want to get caught in the middle of something that is very important to the commission.
Okay, any
Thank
further
you, Lou.
discussion?
If I could also just add for the record that I think what Paula said was right on. I mean, where all the slings and arrows were not this provision. It's just that at that time, it was like 5 hours, 30 minutes into the meeting. Nobody wanted to be thinking about another amendment. I almost got strong help for it. So, I'll defer